This is From Startup to Standout, a brand new series from High Performance in partnership with Lloyds Bank. Just listen to these numbers, okay? 60% of new businesses fail within 3 years, 20% fail in the first year, and just 42.5% make it to 5 years. The truth is, running a business is tough. And as an entrepreneur and a founder myself, I'm desperate to have conversations with other founders about what it's really like, what lessons they've actually learned, so that we can provide you with some real value to make it through those tough early years. Today, I'm here in sunny North London to meet a guy called Mas. So he, 5 years ago, founded a business called Translate Culture. They're a marketing business and they use data to create engaging stories so they can inspire wide audiences and drive businesses forward. Translate Culture are backed by Lloyds Bank, who, as well as providing holistic business support, are so helpful when it comes to starting, growing, and managing your business. Time to meet them.
Hello.
Hey,
Mas.
Hey,
I'm
Jake.
Jake.
Nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you. Mate, what a lovely, colourful office you've got here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And everyone's working hard as well.
Yes.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. I won't disturb you. I know you've got a lot to do, and the founder might get annoyed with me. So, look, let me put my bag down and ask you, really. I'm interested as a fellow founder in the journey, really. How did this all begin for you?
Well, yeah, so I started Translate Culture in 2019. But prior to that, I used to run ads for my wife's business. So she had an Etsy store selling homeware products.
Yeah.
I just decided to blog about it. And then a few years later, the Evening Standard picked it up and featured me on somebody who's used their skills from work to grow their business. And then loads of people just started, hitting me up. I created a WhatsApp group. And from there, just started running ads for a few of the people in the group, and Translate Culture was created.
Amazing. Tell me how different it feels to just working for someone else, because I feel that this is the magic. If you can do this, if you can find the thing that you love and turn it into your passion, I think it's special.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the main thing is obviously having a lot more control of my time and also defining the mission of where I want to sort of take and spend my time.
Yeah, and what was that?
I think the mission for me was just seeing the amazing entrepreneurs that were in the group that had this big vision of growing their business and knowing that I had the skill set to be able to catapult them. So I love working with founder-led brands with real stories. That was the mission of just basically helping those brands grow globally.
Amazing. And for people that are watching this, they can see this. For people listening, there's something on the wall here that talks about one of the brands that you work with. Would you just explain to us what it is that you do for a brand?
Yes, so we do performance marketing, which essentially is paid ads or digital marketing where you can actually measure where the return on investment is coming from.
Love it, man. Look, there'll be people that are listening to this right now thinking, he must know something I don't know, because I'd love to be a founder. I'd love to be brave enough to go and do this. Did you know something that no one else knew? What was the reason that you did this?
I think for me, I've had other sort of attempts of entrepreneurship on the side, and sort of some of them did well, some of them didn't. I think I kind of looked at my experience and looked at other people who've done it, and it sort of defined almost a statement for me. I think it's identify a problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve in a growing market. Because I do find that some people might identify a problem that they can solve, but then it's a dying market. So the growing market for me was super important. And I could see that e-commerce was picking up market share in terms of retail. And so that's why I kind of focused on it. I had the skills, had the track record with my wife, obviously had the publication with the Evening Standard, and it just felt like the timing was perfect.
And then you just have to go for it. And look, we're in a factory. It's a lovely sunny day outside. We're in North London. How far do you live from here?
15 minutes down the road.
Oh, man. So that's also a nice lifestyle choice as well.
Definitely, yeah. So I grew up here, primary school all the way to secondary school. Actually even represented the borough, football.
Where did you play?
I played up front as a striker.
No time for football when you're a founder.
No.
And is it important for you to keep the business in the borough?
100%, yeah. I think, also we provide job opportunities for the guys locally as well. So, for me it's super important just seeing even friends or people that sort of know me to know that I run a business here. It sort of inspires them as well. So, massively important for me.
Let's talk about the truth of being a founder. I mean, even now, I've got one business that's 4 or 5 years old, another business that is 13 years old. But I lie awake at night. Sometimes my eyes open and I'm just full of worry, fear, payroll, staff, people, future direction. Could it all end tomorrow? It's I feel that as the founder, you're the last one to get paid, you're the last one to eat, you're the first one to panic, you're the first one in the morning, the last one out of the door. How is that for you?
It's got better,
Yeah.
but at the beginning, definitely it was, turbulent. I think what I've learned to really hang on to is the mission, and actually seeing the impact that we're having. That sort of balances the anxiety. But yeah, the worry is always there. You may have situations where there's, late invoice payments because maybe some of the businesses are going through some challenges.
I often don't think they know your challenge. Like,
No.
I've had situations where, are we going to make payroll this month if we don't get paid?
Yeah.
And that's a regular thing. And people think if your business grows, that ends, but it doesn't, because the numbers that you're owed from other people are bigger.
Exactly. And I think that, speaking to my wife about this, and she's like, sometimes she feels we're the last paid because everybody's seeing how successful we are. Yeah. They reckon, they'll be fine. But actually, we're taking on a lot of resource to be able to deliver this value. So yeah, those anxieties are still there. But we're fortunate that, with the work we've done, we're getting a lot of pipeline of clients coming in. So there's always that balance of like sometimes letting go of a client because you just, it's taking away valuable resource, which is time, and the opportunity cost of actually working with another client that can, pay the bills on time and grow with you.
So what about support then? I mean, you mentioned the WhatsApp group. One of my big problems is I don't lean on other people often enough. I know Lloyds obviously are super helpful for you. I'm wondering who you've got there that you can just go and say, I'm just stressed or I'm not happy or whatever.
Yeah, I'm quite fortunate actually. So I have a few friends who also run agencies. So we've built those relationships along the journey. So I've been super transparent. And actually early on when I started the company, I decided to create a board, which people thought was like a bit weird. You're not making any revenue, why have you created a board? I just felt like a few of my friends who were a little bit more experienced, just so I can ask them questions around like, how did you solve this problem? It's been super helpful. But yeah, that community is super helpful now. Obviously the founders that I work with, they're very transparent and stuff like that. So it's always good to have people that can kind of understand what some of the challenges you're going through.
Yeah, and I just think as a founder, you're in a kind of a special select club, and you do need to talk to other founders.
You do.
Because people who are just getting paid every month and are on the payroll and they're okay, it's a different mindset,
100%, yeah. And there's the risk of, managing a business, managing people. Very few people can really understand that unless you actually run your own business.
Is it cool if I chat to a member of your team? Who
Sure.
should I speak to, do you think?
Yeah, Mercurius would be a good person to speak to. He's one of the first
Sure.
people.
Have you got time, Mercurius? I don't want to disturb you if you're too busy.
I can make time.
He can make time. Good. I love that.
Brilliant.
Thanks, mate. I'll chat to you in a minute.
Sure, thanks.
Cheers, Matt. Take a seat, man.
Thank you.
I feel bad taking you away from your work. I know that when there's a small team, that's suddenly a big person down. Let's talk about your role here at Translate Culture, first of all. What do you do, Mercurius?
It transitioned, or should I say it translated. So at the very beginning, I would say I was like head of operations.
Yeah, which is basically everything. Just do everything.
Just do everything.
Yeah.
Everything from, processes and systems, hiring, actually just running the accounts at some point, and just taking my background from the agency world and how we structured things and applying it here, but just making sure it's relevant. And then I would say more recently, it became more of a strategic role, helping with our bigger clients to execute on bigger projects, bigger campaigns, bigger partnerships.
Let's talk about how it all started then.
Maz and I have a really lovely mutual friend that we both admire and respect so greatly. And he connected us because of my background working in advertising in a similar environment. I was there for 3 years and I was lucky enough to be the first employee of that agency. So it was a very similar environment. And we just went to Dishoom and we hung out and we hit off immediately. And we actually just realized from the very beginning that trust was going to be so important to this relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're starting something new. Why would you trust just random people, I guess? It was a mutual friend, but we really got straight into talking about values, and that really helped us accelerate that process of trust.
Yeah.
And so one of Maz's values, and then actually became one of TC's values, is take care, which means we can't do the best work if we're not taking care of ourselves. And that really resonated with me. And so with that in mind, we're actually both Christians. And so there was just so many synergies at the very beginning that really helped us, get off to a really solid start.
What about risk then? Because I always think that people talk often about risk and entrepreneurship.
Right.
And it frustrates me because I think that it's a barrier to entry for some people. I think some people think, well, I'm not risk taker, so I better not be an entrepreneur. And I think actually life is about taking risks, but calculated risks,
Okay.
which is what you did.
I guess, yeah. I think sacrifice is the biggest thing here, right? Because it's like, well, I could go over here and get paid X salary and have a normal 9-to-5 job, but does that fulfill me? Probably not. Is that exciting? Probably not. What Maz was trying to do sounded just incredible to me, and I felt like I could really help. And so taking that risk actually wasn't too difficult for me. But I do understand how it can be for a lot of people if you just don't have the infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
And so having X number of months of savings, letting family and friends know that this is something that you're about to embark on, so you can lean on their support. And all of these things are really important to that process.
I love that you've used the word sacrifice, because when we speak to people on high performance about
Yep.
the sacrifices they've made, the answer often is, well, nothing comes for free. There's a cost to everything.
Yeah.
So what's been the cost to you of going on this journey?
It's a great question. Not building my own thing,
Yeah.
right? And so...
So you have to put your ego to one side?
Got you 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just realize there's a time for everything, and doesn't mean that if you're not going to do it now, doesn't mean you're not going to do it later. And I was just in a really unique position to actually help him, and so it just made total sense.
I love that. Mate, I have every confidence that your time will come as well. And actually, the truth is that just because you're doing this, you're not learning. Like, you will be a far better founder, a far
100%.
better entrepreneur when you go and do your own thing than you would have been 5 years ago, because you've learned everything Maz has learned.
Yep.
So just set up another business, take him on and blow him out of the water.
Oh, it's already...
Jokes. He's looking panicked over in the corner.
Already plotting.
Good man. That's the entrepreneur's mindset. I love
Yep.
it. Shaq, I'm Jake. Nice to meet you.
How's it going, Jake? You all
I'm
right?
good, yeah. I thought I would just mute you over to the kitchen and see how you're doing. I see you make
Why
your own
not?
tea because you're the newest member of staff.
That's how it goes. Isn't it?
So how long have you been at Translate Culture?
I've been here since the start of the year, since January, so about 6 months now.
Okay. Tell me about it.
It's been great, to be fair. Coming into like a small, intimate team, I've kind of hit the ground running. And what I like about that is we get to kind of do loads of different roles, so that's a lot of learning, lots of new things, really.
And I see a picture on the wall there saying, shaping up culture. And I was just having a conversation with Mercurius about values and how important they are. So how would you describe the kind of values or the cultures in this place?
I like to see that we're like a family, really. Everyone here's got like an entrepreneurial spirit, so we're all kind of coming from different backgrounds, but we can kind of relate to the same kind of things, and it also helps us in our work, where we can kind of get into the mind of the founder.
Nice. So have you got an entrepreneurial background?
Yeah, so I've used to run a drinks brand previously, the last like 3-4 years before this.
And what happened to that?
I kind of faced some challenges, and I think I was a bit maybe naive at first, but yeah, I've kind of put it on pause and then learned a bit more coming here about marketing, and then now I can probably approach it a bit better.
So this is really interesting for me. So compare the Shaq today compared to the Shaq that walked in here 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
How much more do you know about the world of business that would have maybe made a difference to you previously?
Probably loads more. I overheard you speaking to Mercurius as well about risk, and that's one interesting thing that I found, because previously I would have thought, oh, it's all about taking big risks, and that's probably where I probably fell short in the past. But now I've learned that actually there's better ways to approach it, and better ways that I could maybe do business.
Yeah. So I think you're so right. I think often people think, well, I'm an entrepreneur, therefore risk has to be the number one thing that I focus on, and it isn't. It's about focusing on the process.
Yeah,
like if you
literally.
just think, oh great, I can take this massive risk because I'm an entrepreneur, that's what we do. You're basically putting your startup under strain, which you don't need to do. So I think it's great that you're here. And I feel the same when I spoke to Mercurius. He has his own ambitions, you have your own ambitions. I just love the fact that Maz has created a culture here where people can come in, they can give this business their everything. But as much as they're giving, they can take as well, and he's cool with that. Take the learning, take the lessons, take the growth, take the understanding, and then one day you can do your own thing. And it's like, just feels to me like there's a sense here that everyone can lift each other up.
Yeah, definitely. And the key thing that I've learned also working here is that there's a few key drivers to success as well, working with a lot of brands. So one is like creating products that actually solve a problem, also in a growing market. and actually the founders that focus on their own business. Because you know how it goes. You go on Instagram, you see someone's got like £100 million in sales, and then you kind of take your eye off the ball. And that's like a key thing. But working here in Translate Culture, I kind of have like a holistic experience of the market, working with a lot of different brands. So I can kind of see what works, what doesn't work. And the main thing is the great success stories that we have are when founders just focus on their own thing and just focus on the products and the customers.
Love it. Well, look, I won't disturb your tea break any longer, mate. It's really nice to meet you. And good luck here, but good luck with your own venture as well. I love the spirit you've got for doing your own
appreciate
thing.
it.
No worries. I'm going to go and sit down with Maz for another chat.
Sweet.
Cheers, mate. No, Maz, I thought it'd be quite nice for us to come and just sit quietly somewhere and have a real honest, candid chat about what life is really like as an entrepreneur. I mean, I am really interested in the struggles and the challenges. Like, if I was to ask you the lowest low point of the last 5 years, what would you say?
Yeah, very good question. I'll say probably 2020. So March, it was literally March 24th, the day after lockdown, we lost half our clients. And it was understandable because at the time, no one knew what was to come. So at that moment, I was kind of like figuring out, okay, cool, did I make the right decision?
Yeah. Well, as in, did you make the right decision to set the business up?
Yeah. For a split second, I sort of questioned it. But then I thought, you know what? This is actually a great opportunity to help the clients that stayed with us. So I sent out an email to all the clients and I was like, look, hey, same retainer, but we're going to give you added service. So one of the things I did was like, look, people are going to be online. They're stuck. I told every single one of my clients to just go on and do almost like a scheduled session. So like every Tuesday, you go and talk to your customers about how you can help them. And that was a huge hit. And those customers really appreciated that offer. And then a few months later, obviously the world being locked down, everybody started buying in e-commerce. So I was able to scale a number of brands. And plus we had more eyeballs on the ads as well. So, but that was really rocky because I just didn't know how we were going to come out of that.
Yeah. You know, at Whisper, at my production company, it wasn't a dissimilar story.
Yeah.
You know, we lent. It was kind of different because there was no work to do, but we had a big team. You know, we have hundreds of staff, so it was leaning into them and saying, look, we will still protect you and look after you. And I think what I love about your story is, you know, there's a lot of talk out there about culture and about having the values, but those things only get tested when times are tough.
Yeah.
And you were being tested, and your values came to the fore, which was look after people.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that got your business through COVID probably is fantastic, man.
Yeah, for me, the big part of it is just building trust. You know, with the WhatsApp community, I knew that I was able to build trust with those guys to allow me to even go into the ad account. So just about how do I sort of continue that? And we're here literally off the back of that. So grateful for it.
And thank you for sharing that, because I think that too often founders and owners, they want to tell everyone the great stuff, but it actually leaves people that want to be in your position thinking, well, he's had it great, everything's been perfect, he's never had a challenge to face. But that's not the truth. Yeah. I also really want this series to help people that are sitting there dreaming of one day being an entrepreneur like you. So can we talk about some of the biggest lessons or some of the things that you think are most important to driving the success of your business?
Yeah, I think what's super important, so my team have sort of mentioned it as well, is solving an actual problem. That's what businesses are meant to do.
Yeah.
So really find a problem that you are, like I said, uniquely qualified, you know, to solve, and most importantly, in a growing market. So that's the key thing for me that I've learned, and it rings true with even some of our clients. You know, if they're truly solving a problem, it makes our job easier to actually storytell, the authentic story of why they've started it. I think, especially in this social media age, authenticity is key. People buy into people. We're seeing that people are following brand owners more than following brands. So if you can have a true story or true origin of why you started a business, it actually gives you that leg up to get that first couple customers. And then being able to have authentic customer testimonials really helps. So it goes back to really finding a problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve and then going for it.
And what about creating the culture that you have? Is there anything that you do that you think is slightly different?
Yeah, I do. So what I did when I first started my business, I went for a walk and really wanted to define the culture of the business. And one of the key goals, or should I say key values in my business is a term called ambitious servant, which sounds like a bit of an oxymoron, right? Because a servant, you're sort of like servitude, but then ambitious means that actually you're partnering with people to go on a journey with them. And it's a service-based business. So what that tells my team is like, hey, look, you are part of a business that is delivering value to other people, but you can still have your own ambitions. So it's actually a vehicle for you to learn and really know what it takes to grow a business, because you're really working on the ground with the founders. And I think that value has kind of stood the test of time, and it's, you know, testament with some of the stuff the guys have said.
And how do you make sure the people you're hiring are the right people?
So we've had a few hiccups, but more recently we've done a great job, because when somebody applies for a job, the first person that speaks to them is my wife.
Honestly, she doesn't even work for the business.
Yeah, she doesn't.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so she does the culture fit. So she figures out whether that person fits the culture criteria. Can they work with me? Do they have the same vision? And I think the fact that she, you know, isn't involved directly in the day-to-day, she doesn't have to focus on the technical stuff. And yeah, she hasn't missed. So if you don't pass that, irrespective of your technical skills, then it's probably not going to work out, because the values are super important for us.
I'm nervous to meet your wife now. I feel like she's going to be judging me. Like, what's this guy all about? Look, before we wrap up, I would just really love to ask you to give us a kind of a message, really, to someone that dreams of one day being an entrepreneur. Maybe someone who's on the journey and they're struggling a bit at the moment. Maybe someone who's on the journey and they're starting to doubt whether they've actually got the ability to do it. What would you like to leave people thinking about?
I think with anything in life, resilience is key. So it's really figuring out, you know, business is tough, irrespective. So it's going to be tough at some point. I think the thing that I found is, in order for you to sort of create that resilience, it comes from, are you actually doing something that you care about, right? Because as we mentioned earlier, there are sleepless nights. What is the mission? So the money is great because it allows you to, you know, make investments and actually impact people's lives. But you need a mission bigger than that, because there will be certain challenges that will challenge you, challenge your personal life. And you just almost need to kind of have that, some people might call it delusion, but like a vision for yourself that is bigger than what you're facing at the moment.
Listen, thank you so much for letting me ruin a whole day's work for you, come in and see what you're up to. It is an absolute pleasure of mine. I love the fact that you're local, you're a local guy, you've stayed local, you're hiring local people, you're investing in local talent. But as you said, ambitious servitude, you're serving the local community, you're serving your customers, you're serving your staff. But your ambition is so exciting. And I think you're an example of what anyone from any walk of life listening to this can do if they have what you've got, which is that drive and that determination to go and make it on their own.
Thank you, really appreciate that.
It's not easy, but it's great, right?
Yeah,
it feels great.
Cheers, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas.
Cheers, thanks.
You know what? I really love that. I find it so inspiring chatting to fellow founders, finding out about their journey. And the message is that right now, good things are happening in British businesses, and Lloyds Bank has the expertise and ability to support you in any business journey. Thank you so much for tuning in to From Startup to Standout. I can't wait for you to join us for another episode. And to find out more about the things we've spoken about today, just check out the Lloyds Bank Business website. See you soon.